working 15-hour days just to feed her kids. Why this single mom can't make ends meet.
Not enough money for secondhand shoes. Sarah Campbell cuts her shopping trip short.
Plus, an exclusive look inside of Nancy Hill's apartment. GT has a scoop.
What if we cared about those living in poverty as much as we care about celebrities?
Interesting. We got a phone call from an ad agency called DDB, and they said, we've read about the Homeward Bound program, Wood Green's Homeward Bound program in the Globe, and we'd love for you to come in and talk with us a little bit about some ideas that we had. So we thought, great, this is, we're always excited to sort of have conversations. And so we went into their offices and sat down with them, and they presented us their idea for this Celebrity Single Moms campaign.
The culture at DDB is one of working on pro bono and trying to give back to the community. And to use our creativity to solve problems was DDB's sort of motto.
This was our first foray into doing something like this. We were not well educated in the ways of the world in terms of marketing. We needed to help them understand a poverty from the perspective of the client. So that it wasn't so an extreme view, but a view of a real person.
It would have been easier to use actors because the challenge with using real people is you have to be very cognizant of being respectful, you have to make sure you are authentic, but that's exactly why we wanted to use real people. We wanted it to be their real stories.
Because we didn't have any idea how big this campaign would be, how successful it was going to be, neither did the women in our program. And so they participated freely and were excited about being involved, but then their faces were in the subways and their families saw and their friends saw their faces in the subway, and for that it was an interesting response. And so they needed to come to terms with just, I guess, being a celebrity.
Within my department, the team that worked on this, we often talked about celebrities, and there was a point where you start to feel guilty. And we knew about Justin Bieber, we knew about Kim Kardashian, but we didn't know what was happening 2 doors down from us or in our communities.
The big win for us was public awareness and really telling the story of Homeward Bound and Wood Green's good work, telling the story of the women who make the program a success and go on to change their lives through their hard work, and raising awareness within the city of Toronto about issues like homelessness, poverty, and the realities faced by folks who are living in those situations every day.
The outcomes of this campaign were amazing. I mean, the number of views that we got, the number of hits we got from around the world, but everywhere from France to Quebec to Alberta to everywhere, so for us that was fantastic exposure for both our Homeward Bound program and for Wood Green.
Without Twitter, nobody outside of Toronto would have known about this campaign, and so we really wanted to respond to all of the tweets we were getting in the Facebook posts. We had a unique hashtag called Change the Conversation. We had Rosie O'Donnell, who's a well-known actress, tweet the story that made it to BuzzFeed, and with every tweet and retweet, all of these new followers would see the campaign, then they would then send it out to their followers, and that sent us around the world in a matter of days.
I thought because it was culturally relevant that it would break through, which is what I was hoping, but I think it was even bigger than I thought, and I still see it all the time. I check Twitter just to see if people are still talking about it, and they are, and it just makes me feel so good that it's lasting.
We would love more opportunities like this, so we're continuing to try to get ourselves out there to do that kind of thing. But maybe it was once in a lifetime, but it was really fantastic. It wasn't just about Homeward Bound and Wood Green, but it really kind of highlighting and focusing on the issues of poverty in our city for everybody who lives in our city, so that at least maybe for a moment they took a second to think about someone else who lived around them or they might know who weren't in the same conditions that they had, so they had better opportunities to help other people.